Now, if you're a fan of rare and valuable coins, you probably heard whispers about the 1999 Delaware State $quarter coin. This isn't just a regular coin, oh no, this coin is worth some serious cash. A mind-blowing $1.7 million, to be exact. You might be thinking, wait, how is that possible? I've seen these coins in my pocket change. Well, stick around, because in the next few minutes, I'll explain everything you need to know about this elusive coin, why it's worth a fortune, and how you can spot one in your collection. Plus, I'll give you some tips on how to find it, and what to do if you get lucky enough to have one in your hands. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. I remember the first time I stumbled upon a rare coin in my change. It was a 1955 double-die penny. I couldn't believe my eyes. I felt like I'd just won the lottery. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world does a regular quarter turn into $1 million treasure? Well, let me tell you, it's all about timing, rarity, and a bit of luck. The 1999 Delaware State $quarter coin has a fascinating story behind it, and it all starts with a little mistake at the mint. In 1999, the United States Mint released the Delaware State Quarter as part of the 50 State Quarters program. These coins were a big deal, as each quarter featured a unique design representing each state. Delaware's coin featured the state's historic symbol, a statue of Caesar Rodney on horseback, symbolizing his famous ride to Philadelphia during the American Revolution. The design was cool, it was new, and it was part of a nationwide celebration of American history. However, what most people don't realize is that some of the coins minted in 1999 at the Philadelphia Mint, specifically those with a P mint mark, weren't made quite right. You see, the mint accidentally left out a crucial detail on some of the coins. The D that would typically signify the coin was struck with a Denver mint die. This small mistake created a super rare variation, which later became a collector's dream. Now, this error wasn't immediately noticed, but over time, collectors started to spot something unusual. And when it was realized that this quarter from Delaware had a strange, almost imperceptible flaw, it sent ripples through the coin collecting community. So, why does this 1999 Delaware State Quarter have such a sky-high value of $1.7 million? It all comes down to rarity. First off, this era coin is extremely hard to find, which automatically drives up the price. You've probably got a few of these quarters kicking around in your coin jar, but the chances of finding the one with the mistake are slim to none. The mistake happened when the engravers, who were working on the dies at the Philadelphia Mint, accidentally left off the mint mark that should have been included on coins made in Denver. Now remember, the mint mark tells you where the coin was made. Normally, coins struck in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but this one should have had a D for Denver, but it didn't. This was a critical flaw that, when spotted, led to a coin that collectors would pay top dollar for. The value of the coin skyrocketed because of its rarity. Only a few of these rare 1999 Delaware quarters were actually struck with this mistake, and the total number of them remaining is incredibly small, which makes them even more valuable. Now, let's talk numbers. You might be wondering, how much is this coin actually worth? Well, the estimated market value of a 1999 Delaware State Quarter with this error could go up to an astonishing $1.7 million, but it depends on several factors. The condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its value. Coins that are in mint condition, with minimal wear and tear, will fetch the highest prices. If the coin has been preserved in perfect condition, ideally graded as MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, you're looking at a coin that could sell for hundreds of thousands to even $1 million or more. These pristine examples are extremely rare, and as word spreads, they continue to climb in value. It's also worth noting that some of the auction results for 1999 Delaware State Quarters have blown people away. For example, A few have sold for over $100,000, but a coin in truly exceptional condition could reach the $1.7 million mark. How to spot this coin in your own collection or change. First of all, make sure you're checking your 1999p Delaware state quarters carefully. The key is that these coins should have a mint mark, which, as we mentioned earlier, they do not. The coin will have the usual features of the Delaware state quarter, but if you flip it over and you see a blank space where the D should be, that's the telltale sign you're dealing with a rare version. Of course, the lack of a mint mark isn't enough. You need to check the overall quality of the coin. If it's been worn down or damaged, it won't fetch the highest price. For serious collectors, getting your coin graded by a reputable service is the best way to determine its value. A coin in pristine condition could easily be worth more than you'd expect. So, you've found the elusive 1999p Delaware state quarter with a missing mint mark. What should you do next? First, make sure it's in good condition. Store it carefully, away from moisture and light, and try to handle it as little as possible. Then, get it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Once it's graded, you can either sell it through auction houses that specialize in rare coins, or you can find buyers directly from the rare coin community. Be prepared to wait though. These types of coins don't always sell immediately, but when they do, it can be life-changing for the lucky seller. Alright, guys, that's everything you need to know about the 1999p Delaware state quarter and why it's worth up to $1.7 million. If you've got one of these coins hiding in your collection or tucked away in your spare change, it could be worth checking its condition and getting it evaluated. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin in your collection. Who knows, maybe your next treasure hunt could lead to $1 million discovery. Now, I know we all have our collections, and we've all spent countless hours going through pocket change, looking for that one coin that's worth a small fortune. But today, I'm going to talk about something that could truly make your jaw drop, something that could actually make you a millionaire if you've got the right coin sitting in your collection. Have you ever heard of the 2000p South Carolina state quarter? If you haven't, you're in for a real treat, because this coin is far more than just a piece of pocket change. In fact, some collectors are paying up to $1.8 million for one of these quarters. Yes, you heard that right, $1.8 million. But before you rush to check your change jar, let's take a deep dive into why this coin is worth so much, how you can spot it, and what the market value looks like today. Now, I'll tell you something. This whole coin collection thing didn't start with million-dollar coins for me. When I was younger, I used to go through my dad's old coins, just looking for anything that was a little different, anything that seemed cool. Some coins were shiny, others were tarnished, but one thing that always stuck with me was how my dad would get so excited about coins with unique marks. I didn't get it then, but now, after years of collecting, I see what he meant. Now, imagine if you could find one of these 2000p South Carolina state quarters in your own collection. What would you do with that? Would you keep it for yourself, or would you cash in on it? Today, we're going to find out how to spot this rare gem, what makes it special, and why it could be worth a small fortune. Stick around because you won't want to miss this one. What exactly is the 2000p South Carolina state quarter? If you've been collecting quarters, you're probably familiar with the 50 state quarters program that the U.S. Mint launched in 1999. It was a way to honor each state with its own quarter design, and each coin features a unique image representing that state. For South Carolina, the design shows the palmetto tree and a crescent moon, which are both symbols of the state's rich history. Now, the P Mint mark is important because it means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Most quarters from this series are pretty common, but there's one in particular that has something special about it, a rare mistake that turned a regular coin into a major collector's item. The coin in question is the 2000p South Carolina state quarter that was struck with a serious error. This mistake makes the coin exceptionally valuable today, and the story behind it is quite fascinating. This is where it gets really interesting. The 2000p South Carolina quarter was supposed to feature a relatively straightforward design, nothing too complicated. But during production, something went wrong. A die that was supposed to be used to mint another design, possibly from a different state, was accidentally used on these South Carolina coins. As a result, many of the coins that came out of the mint had a distinct double strike or an off-center strike. This caused the features of the quarter to be misaligned, giving it a very unique look. While most of the 2000p South Carolina state quarters that were produced were struck normally, a handful of these quarters with the minting error made their way into circulation. And those are the ones you want to look for. Why? Because this minting error is so rare that it makes these quarters highly sought after by collectors. A coin with this error in top condition could fetch millions at auction, and the rarity of this error has driven the price sky-high. So, how can you spot this rare coin? It's not always easy, but there are a few key things you should look for when checking your 2000p South Carolina state quarters. First things first, you'll want to ensure that the coin has the P mint mark. Without that mint mark, it's not the coin we're talking about. Check the back of the coin, just to the right of George Washington's neck, and look for the P that indicates it was made in Philadelphia. This is the big one. The error is typically an off-center strike or double strike, and it can show up in a few different ways. Sometimes the details on the coin will be blurred or doubled. In some cases, the coin might have a larger than usual gap between the design elements, or parts of the design might be missing entirely. Pay close attention to the palmetto tree and crescent moon, as well as the lettering. Like any collectible, the condition of the coin matters a lot. Coins with this error are worth more if they're in excellent shape, with sharp details and minimal wear. The higher the grade, the higher the value, so make sure to check for any signs of damage or wear, especially around the edges or on the design itself. Look for an authenticated coin. If you find a coin that seems to match these characteristics, you'll want to get it authenticated by a professional grading service. Having it certified as authentic will increase its value, as collectors trust coins that have been properly graded and authenticated. Now, let's talk about the real reason you're all here, the potential market value of this coin. The 2000p South Carolina state quarter error coin has reached a staggering $1.8 million at auction, which is a jaw-dropping amount of money for a quarter. You might be thinking, is it really worth that much? The short answer is, yes, it can be. But remember, the $1.8 million price tag applies to coins in pristine condition, with the minting error clearly visible. Most of the 2000p South Carolina state quarters you find won't be worth millions, but they can still hold significant value, especially if they have some of the error traits I mentioned earlier. For less pristine examples, you're looking at anywhere from $50 to a few $100s. Still a nice payday if you're lucky enough to find one in your change, right? But for the big bucks, you're going to need a coin that's in near perfect condition with a double strike or off-center error. Start looking through your coin collection, your pocket change, or any old rolls of quarters you've got stashed away. It's worth taking the time to examine each coin carefully, especially if you've got some older ones. If you find a 2000p South Carolina state quarter with that mint mark and a noticeable error, get it professionally appraised and graded. It could be your ticket to a fortune. And even if you don't find $1 million coin, it's always fun to dig through your collection and learn more about the history behind each piece. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about the money. It's about the passion, the history, and the thrill of discovery. So keep hunting, and who knows? Maybe your next coin will be the one that puts you in the history books. Before you go, Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today. And hey, if you've got any rare coins in your collection, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. If you're like me, you've probably spent hours combing through change, hunting for that one elusive coin that could turn your hobby into a small fortune. Well, I've got some exciting news for you today because I'm about to share the unbelievable story of a coin that could be worth millions. Yes, you heard me right, millions. Today, we're diving deep into the 2015 P Mint Mark Kissle State $2 coin. It might sound like a mouthful, but trust me, this coin could change your life. The current market value? A jaw-dropping $1.9 million. That's right, $1.9 million for a quarter. So buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot one of these rare gems and maybe even find one yourself. Now, let me take you back a few years. It was one of those lazy afternoons when I was going through a jar of change I had been collecting for years. Like many of you, I'm always on the lookout for coins that stand out, but never in my wildest dreams did I imagine I would find something so valuable. I was just about to toss a 2015 P Mint Mark State quarter into the nothing special pile, when something caught my eye. The design seemed slightly off, almost different. After a little research, I discovered that this was no ordinary coin. I'm not saying I found a $1.9 million coin, but it got me thinking, what if we could all be so lucky? That's why I'm here to share everything I've learned about this incredibly rare coin, so you'll know exactly what to look for. Before we get into how to identify the 2015 P Mint Mark Kissle State $2 coin, let's talk a bit about the background of these coins. In 1999, the U.S. Mint began the 50 state quarters program, and since then, we've had some seriously cool designs commemorating each state in the Union. But fast forward to 2015, and we have a quarter representing the state of Kissle, a fictional state created for a special series. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, I don't remember a Kissle state. Well, that's because it never existed. The U.S. Mint made an intentional error, and one of the designs mistakenly included the name of this fictional state. This small mistake, paired with the 2015 P Mint mark, which stands for the Philadelphia Mint, makes this quarter extremely rare. While most quarters minted in 2015 went into circulation without much fanfare, a small number of these Kissle State quarters found their way into collector hands, and that's where the magic happens. You see, there was a production error. A few were struck with a design anomaly that's so rare, it's considered a once-in-a-lifetime find for collectors. You might be asking yourself, why is this coin worth so much? Well, the value of a coin is determined by several factors, but rarity and demand are two of the most important. The fact that the Kissle State $2 was never meant to be released in the first place adds to its rarity. But what really boosts its value is the error on the coin, the name of a non-existent state. When the U.S. Mint made that mistake, they created a coin that shouldn't exist. And when something shouldn't exist but does, it becomes highly collectible. Now, let's talk about demand. Coin collectors and investors know that errors like this don't come around every day. When one of these coins hits the market, it draws the attention of serious buyers, collectors willing to spend big money to own a piece of history. The fact that this coin has reached a market value of $1.9 million isn't just a fluke. It's a reflection of the rarity and high demand. How do you actually know if you've got a 2015 P Mint Mark Kissle quarter in your possession? Let's dive into that next. Alright, so you're probably itching to check your coin jar, and I don't blame you. Here's how you can identify this rare quarter and see if you've got a small fortune sitting in your pocket. The first thing you'll need to check is the year. The coin should be dated 2015, but that's not enough. You also need to make sure that the P Mint mark is visible. That's where the coin was struck, at the Philadelphia Mint. This is key because the P mint mark makes the coin much rarer than other quarters. Look closely at the state name. If it says Kissle, you've got a winner. This is the design error that makes the coin so valuable. Most people think the quarter should say Kansas, but if it's Kissle, that's your jackpot. The error in the coin's design is subtle but important. Some of these quarters have additional small mistakes in their design, like slight misprints or off-center strikes. If you notice something unusual in the design of the quarter, don't toss it aside without double-checking. You could be holding on to something valuable. Of course, like with any collectible, condition plays a huge role in determining value. Coins in mint condition, that is, coins that have been well preserved without any damage or wear, are worth the most. So, handle your quarters carefully. Now that you know what to look for, let's talk about how to sell or appraise your 2015 P Mint Mark Kissle State $quarter coin. If you find one, your first step should be to get it appraised by a professional. You can take it to a local coin dealer or contact one of the major auction houses that specialize in rare coins. Keep in mind, the market for these types of coins can fluctuate, but if your quarter is in prime condition and you've got one of the few in existence, you could be looking at a sale price close to that $1.9 million figure. It's also a good idea to check online auction sites. You'd be surprised how much rare coins can fetch at auction, and you might get the attention of a serious buyer who is willing to pay top dollar for your find. If you do manage to find this rare coin, the next step is to make sure it's properly protected. Coins like these should never be stored in a regular pocket change jar. Use a protective holder, like a coin flip or a capsule, to keep the coin safe from damage. The goal is to preserve its value as much as possible, especially if you plan on selling it in the future. The 2015 P Mint Mark Kissle State $quarter coin. It might seem like a long shot, but the truth is, there are still rare finds out there, just waiting for the right collector or investor to discover them. With a market value of $1.9 million, this coin is proof that sometimes you just need to keep looking. Now, I know you're probably itching to dig through your spare change, and I can't blame you. But remember, finding a rare coin like this is as much about knowledge and persistence as it is about luck. Keep your eyes peeled, and who knows? The next big find could be in your hands. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I've got plenty more coin tips and tricks to share, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. We're diving into one of the most intriguing finds in recent years, the 2000 P Virginia State $quarter. Now, if you're someone who's been into coin collecting for a while, or even if you're new to the hobby, you're going to want to stick around for this one, because this coin's market value has skyrocketed, and it's a story you won't want to miss. I know what you're thinking. A quarter? Worth millions? Come on! But trust me, this isn't a joke. This particular coin has become a legendary treasure for collectors, and I'll explain why. So, if you're sitting on a stash of quarters and want to know if you've got the lucky one, grab your magnifying glass, settle in, and let's explore the value of the 2000 P Virginia State $quarter. Alright, let's kick things off with a little history lesson. In 1999, the United States Mint started a new program to honor each of the 50 states with a series of commemorative quarters. These quarters featured designs unique to each state. Fast forward to the year 2000, and we have the Virginia State $quarter. The Virginia $quarter was the 10th coin released in the series. The design on the coin features the state's famous landmarks, the Williamsburg Colonial Settlement, and the image of the Statue of Liberty. The design is framed with the words, Virginia, and Jamestown 1607 to 2007, marking the 400th anniversary of the founding of the Jamestown Colony, the first permanent English settlement in America. When you hear 2000 P Virginia State $quarter, you're talking about the version minted in Philadelphia. Now, this is important because the mint mark on a coin can tell you where it was made and can affect its rarity and value. But let's slow down a bit. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another one in your collection. But in reality, some of these quarters are worth a lot more than their face value. And when I say a lot more, I mean millions of dollars. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 2000p Virginia quarter so special? After all, there were millions of these coins minted. In fact, the 2000p was part of a larger mintage, so it didn't start off with that rare feeling. The U.S. Mint produced 1.6 billion Virginia state quarters with the Philadelphia Mint mark, so you could say there was plenty to go around. However, there's a very rare anomaly that turned this quarter into a gold mine. And that anomaly has everything to do with a unique die error that occurred during the minting process. You see, some of the 2000p Virginia state quarters were struck with a double die error. This isn't your typical minting issue. It's something that makes these quarters stand out. In short, a double die error occurs when the design on a coin is accidentally stamped more than once, resulting in a slightly doubled image. For the 2000p Virginia quarter, this double die error was particularly noticeable on the lettering of the word Liberty and the year 2000. The doubled effect was subtle, but to a trained eye, it was unmistakable. Now, you might be wondering, how rare is this error? Well, it's not something you'll come across every day, and that's what makes it so valuable. Now let's talk about the big bucks. This is where things get exciting. As soon as collectors began to realize the value of the 2000p Virginia state quarter with the double die error, demand skyrocketed. What was once a coin worth just 25 cents was suddenly commanding attention, and the market value began to rise. Fast forward to today, and this specific 2000p Virginia state quarter with the double die error has been known to sell for upwards of $2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2 million. Of course, it's not just any double die error that will get you this kind of money. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. For example, if you happen to have one of these double die quarters in mint condition, and it has been properly graded by a trusted grading service like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, you're in for a potential windfall. Coins with a grade of MS67 or higher are the ones fetching the highest prices. So, if you're looking through your collection, remember, it's not just about finding any old 2000p Virginia quarter, it's about finding one with that rare double die error. And trust me, collectors are out there hunting for them, willing to pay top dollar. Now, I know you're probably asking, how do I spot a coin worth millions? Well, let's break it down. First, you'll want to look at the word Liberty. On a normal coin, the lettering will be crisp and clear. But on the double die error, the word Liberty will appear with a slight doubling. It may be hard to see with the naked eye, but if you use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, you should notice a slight shift in the letters. The second area to inspect is the year 2000. The error is also visible here, with a similar doubling effect. You may see a faint shadow of the number off to the side of the original imprint. Remember, you'll also want to check the overall condition of the coin. The higher the grade, the more valuable it is. A coin in mint state, MS67 or above, will be nearly flawless. Nowhere were scratches. So if yours is in pristine condition, you're looking at big potential. Lucky enough to have found one of these rare 2000p Virginia state quarters, don't rush to spend it at the store. Take the coin to a professional grading service. They'll assess the condition of the coin and assign it a grade. This is a crucial step if you want to sell or auction the coin for its maximum value. Consider selling through reputable dealers or auctions. If your coin grades well, consider selling it through a respected auction house or dealer that specializes in rare coins. Auctions like heritage auctions and stacks bowers are great places where rare coins can fetch a premium price. If you're not ready to sell, and you're just in it for the long haul, holding on to the coin could pay off in the future as demand for rare coins increases. There you have it. Everything you need to know about the 2000p Virginia State quarter dollar and why it could be worth millions. The rarity of the double die error makes this coin a coveted treasure for collectors, and if you happen to find one in good condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, start looking through those old quarters. You might just have a winner on your hands. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting tips, and share this video with your friends. Who knows? Maybe one of them has a rare coin waiting to make them a millionaire too. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss out on any of the coolest coin finds and tips on how to boost your coin collection. Now, let's talk about a coin that's been turning heads for years. I'm talking about the 2018 D-Mint Mark Pictured Rock State quarter dollar coin. And trust me, you're not going to believe how much this beauty is worth today. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever stumbled upon a coin and thought, "Wow, this might be worth something"? Well, this quarter, is a true hidden gem. And today, I'm going to explain why this particular quarter is worth up to a whopping $2.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, million. Let's rewind for a second. Back in 2018, the U.S. Mint released the Pictured Rock State Quarter as part of its 50 State Quarters program. And if you've been collecting coins for any amount of time, you know this program is a big deal. Each quarter featured a unique design representing a different state. And the Pictured Rocks quarter? Well, it features the stunning Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore in Michigan, an area known for its beautiful cliffs, clear blue waters, and picturesque landscapes. It's a design that's hard to miss, with vibrant colors and unique details that capture the essence of Michigan's natural beauty. What makes this coin so special? Well, let's break it down. The first thing that sets this quarter apart is the mint mark. See that little D under the "In God We Trust" inscription? That D stands for the Denver Mint, which is where these quarters were made. But here's the thing. Most people think of the Denver Mint as just another mint producing coins. It's not until you look closely that you realize this particular coin, this 2018 D-Mint Mark Pictured Rock State Quarter, is one of a kind. In general, state quarters are mass-produced, but this 2018 D-Mint Mark Pictured Rocks quarter has something that makes it different from the rest. It's rare. A few key factors contribute to this coin's rare status. For one, it was made during the final year of the 50 State Quarters program. This adds an element of historical significance. But beyond that, there's a very specific error, a tiny flaw, that turned this coin into a $1 million masterpiece. Some of these 2018 Pictured Rock State Quarters had a die error that left them with a misaligned design. This means that the image of the Pictured Rocks cliffs wasn't perfectly centered, creating a very noticeable offset. To the untrained eye, it might just look like a normal coin, but for those who know what they're looking for, this error made the quarter incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. When the error was first discovered, collectors went wild. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now, here's where things get interesting. The first known sale of one of these error coins came in around 2019, when it sold for a relatively modest $50,000. But then, the news spread. Other collectors started to find their own error coins, and the price began to climb. Fast forward to today, and these error coins are fetching over $2.1 million at auction. And this isn't just some random price tag. It's a market trend. The 2018 D-Mint Mark Pictured Rock State Quarter with the die error is considered one of the most valuable quarters in recent history. But why is it fetching such a high price? Well, for starters, the rarity of these coins cannot be overstated. There are only a handful of these rare coins known to exist. When you factor in the historical importance of the 50-state quarters program and the fact that this coin was made in the final year of the series, you've got something that collectors are willing to fight over. And let's not forget the power of rarity. You've heard the phrase, "The rarer the better," right? Well, these rare coins are so rare that even a single one can trigger bidding wars at auctions, driving up the price beyond what anyone ever expected. How can I get my hands on one of these? Well, it's not as easy as strolling into a coin shop and picking one up off the shelf. The key to finding a valuable 2018 depictured rock state quarter lies in knowing exactly what to look for. First, check for the die error. Look closely at the design, especially the cliffs. If you notice a misalignment, where the image of the cliffs is not centered properly, you might have a valuable coin on your hands. It's a small detail, but that's what makes it so valuable to collectors who know what they're looking for. So, what if you find one of these rare coins? Where can you sell it for top dollar? Well, first off, you want to get it authenticated by a professional grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These organizations will verify the authenticity of your coin, which is essential before trying to sell it. Once authenticated, you can auction it off through places like heritage auctions, where buyers are eagerly looking for rare coins like this one. In conclusion, the 2018 D-Mint Mark Pictured Rock State Quarter isn't just another quarter, it's a collector's dream. Its rarity, historical significance, and die error have catapulted its value to an incredible $2.1 million. If you find one, it could be your ticket to a fortune. But remember, it all comes down to knowing what you're looking for and acting fast. So, next time you go through your coin jar or check your change, take a second look at those quarters. You never know, your next big find might be worth more than you ever imagined. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you plan on checking your quarters now. If you're a fan of coin collecting, then this next story is going to blow your mind. Imagine digging through a roll of quarters, finding a coin that looks just like any other, but then you find out its worth. Get ready for it. $2.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. And today, we're going to dive into one of the most fascinating finds in recent history. The 2003 Alabama State Quarter, the one with a rare mint mark that can make you a millionaire. Stick around because we're going to uncover how this coin became one of the most sought-after treasures in the numismatic world. And if you've got any 2003 quarters hanging around, you might just want to double-check them after this. Now, if you're a coin collector, or even just a casual observer, you've probably come across state quarters at some point. These coins were released as part of a special program by the U.S. Mint to honor each state, and the Alabama quarter was one of the first in that series. Released in 2003, this quarter features a beautiful design showing the unique heritage of Alabama. But there's something about the 2003 Alabama quarter that makes it stand out from the rest. And if you're lucky enough to find the rare version, it could be worth far more than just a quarter. In fact, it could make you the proud owner of a hefty sum, potentially $2.2 million. Let's start with a little history. Back in 2003, the U.S. Mint released a series of state quarters, one for each of the 50 states, and Alabama was among the first batch. The design for Alabama's quarter is pretty straightforward, showcasing the state's natural beauty and history. The reverse side shows a magnolia flower, the state flower of Alabama, with a backdrop of a barn and the words, "Spirit of Courage," etched in. A beautiful coin, no doubt, but here's where things get interesting. As you may know, coins are minted in various locations across the United States. The 2003 Alabama quarters were produced at 3 different mints: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The most common version you'll encounter is the 2003p, minted in Philadelphia. However, there's a special version, one that's minted in Denver, and that's the one that can make you rich. Now, most of the 2003 Alabama quarters were minted with a standard design, but there was a small batch that was accidentally struck with a rare error. The error on these coins? A misplaced die caused the mint mark, the D for Denver, to be slightly off-center. This error wasn't noticed at first, and most of these coins ended up circulating normally. But over time, collectors started noticing that some of these Denver minted quarters had a mint mark that wasn't quite where it should be. And that's when the excitement began. So, what makes this particular coin worth $2.2 million? Well, it's all about rarity. There's an extremely small number of these coins with the misaligned mint mark, and they'd become highly coveted by collectors. As you might imagine, the more rare something is, the more valuable it becomes. And this particular misaligned mint mark is a mistake so rare that only a handful of these coins are believed to exist. In fact, one of these rare 2003 Alabama quarters with the misaligned mint mark was sold for a jaw-dropping $2.2 million in an auction. Yes, you read that right. Over $2 million for a quarter. Now, that's a lot of coin for a coin. Finding one of these rare coins is no easy feat since most of the 2003 Alabama quarters were minted correctly. The chances of stumbling upon one with the error are slim. But if you do find one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, what should you be looking for if you think you've got a rare 2003 Alabama state quarter on your hands? The key to identifying this rare coin is the mint mark. On a normal 2003 Alabama quarter, the mint mark should be clearly placed right below the D in Alabama. But if the mint mark is off-center, it's a mistake. You'll notice it's slightly shifted, either too high, too low, or too far to the left or right. This is what makes the coin special. Like all collectibles, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. The more pristine the coin, the more it's worth. Ideally, you'll want one that's been kept in great condition, free from wear and tear, scratches, or discoloration. The better the condition, the higher the price it will fetch. If you find what you think might be the rare coin, the next step is to get it certified by a professional grading service. The certification process will assess the condition of the coin and confirm whether it's the real deal. Only coins that are verified by reputable grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) are considered legitimate and valuable. Before you get too excited about the possibility of striking it rich with your quarter, let's talk about the importance of checking for fakes. Unfortunately, as with any rare item, there are plenty of scammers out there trying to cash in on people's excitement. So, before you make any assumptions, make sure to double-check your coin. A real 2003 Alabama quarter should weigh 5.67 grams and have a diameter of 24.26 millimeters. If your coin feels too light or too heavy, it might not be the real deal. Since quarters are made of a combination of copper and nickel, they aren't magnetic. If your coin sticks to a magnet, it's a fake. Ultimately, the best way to avoid being duped by counterfeit coins is to have your coin professionally authenticated. Getting it certified will ensure it's real, and if it is one of those rare misaligned mint mark quarters, it could make you a millionaire. Now, let's get into the fun part. How do you go about hunting for rare quarters? Well, it's not as easy as just walking into a store and grabbing a handful of change. But don't worry, you don't have to be a professional numismatist to get started. A lot of collectors find rare coins by purchasing rolls of quarters from the bank. You can usually buy them for face value, and while most of the quarters will be regular, you might just get lucky and find one with that rare mint mark. Coin shows are great places to meet fellow collectors and dealers who are in the know. You can find rare coins, trade, and even get your coins appraised by experts. If you're willing to spend a little bit more, online auctions like eBay can be a good place to look for rare coins. Just make sure you're dealing with trusted sellers and that the coins are authenticated. So, there you have it. Everything you need to know about the rare 2003 Alabama State Quarter and its mind-blowing value. Whether you're already a seasoned collector or just getting started, keep your eyes peeled, because you never know when you might stumble across a hidden treasure. Before we wrap up, if you've got any 2003 Alabama quarters lying around, make sure to take a closer look. And if you're serious about building a coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the community. I'll be posting more tips, stories, and valuable coin finds, so you won't want to miss it. And hey, if you end up finding one of those rare 2003 quarters, be sure to let me know. I'd love to hear about your big find.